It appears that there's no end in sight for the sale of Chelsea Football Club. A lot of investors are willing to bet big money on the London Giants after they were put up for sale by Roman Abramovich. However, the Russian billionaire is asking for more than what the club is worth, which has slightly complicated things. However, it hasn't stopped a certain MMA legend from throwing his hat in the ring. Does he really have enough money to buy the club? Sergio Ramos has had a terrible run of luck ever since he joined PSG last summer. The legendary Spanish defender has struggled with physical glitches throughout the campaign, but it appears that sporting director Leonardo hasn't lost his patience yet. Bayer Leverkusen are already preparing for their next big sale, and it appears that they've set a huge asking price for their star winger Musa Diaby. While Roman Abramovich might not get enough margin from the European politicians, his counterpart at AS Monaco, Dmitry Rybolovlev, is not going to be forced to sell the club just because he's from Russia. You might call it double standards, but we'll tell you why that's the case. Before we get started, we want to share the sponsor of today's video. The OneFootball app is the ultimate football platform and is a must-have for every football fan, so that you can follow all of your favourite leagues, teams and players all the time right from your phone. You can be sure to turn on notifications for specific players to be instantly alerted when they score a goal or when they are involved in other breaking news. It is the best and easiest way to stay up to date with everything football. Click the link in the description down below to download the app right now. You won't regret it. With 12 goals and 7 assists on the clock, Musa Diaby is one of the most influential players in the Bundesliga this season. To the delight of Bayer Leverkusen, the youngster has extended his contract in recent months until June 2025. Didier Deschamps, coach of the French team, noted it well, offering him several opportunities for the national side during the last few games. And the market has also not missed the performances of the young midfielder. The left winger attracts attention, especially in England, where his profile as a pacey dribbler clearly does not leave you indifferent. Bayer do not want to hear about it and hope to be able to keep him for at least another season after qualifying for the next Champions League. However, Simon Rolfes, the German sporting director, and his team is well aware that they will be attacked this summer. And in an attempt to ward off potential suitors from the young winger, they purely and simply decided to ask for a hell of a lot of money. According to L'Equipe, Bayer Leverkusen have set the price for their star player at 100 million euros. They believe that they can get as much, if not more, than Kai Havertz, who left for Chelsea for a similar sum 2 years ago. If a suitor were to align such an offer, it would also make PSG happy. By selling their winger in the summer of 2019, the capital club had included a percentage for resale, 20% according to RMC Sport. Enough to imagine a very nice check. Musa Diaby's sale is going to pay off big, and Leverkusen are not going to settle for peanuts. After arriving at Parc des Princes for free last summer, Sergio Ramos has experienced quite a complicated season in France, and Leonardo, the club's sporting director, had a lot of things to say on the matter. Leonardo picked his moment. Earlier this week, a little less than a week before the knockout round of the Champions League against Real Madrid, the sporting director of Paris Saint-Germain offered himself to a sensational media outing in the columns of L'Equipe. The opportunity to discuss all the hot topics of the moment in the French capital, and inevitably, the Brazilian could not escape questions about Sergio Ramos. Arriving as a free agent last summer after several years of good and loyal service to Real Madrid, the central defender came to bring his experience at the very highest level and, of course, to become an important member of the starting 11. But for the moment, we can say that it's a failure. The Spaniard has had a string of physical glitches and has only appeared 5 times in the PSG jersey, 3 starts and 1 goal. This is an inadequate balance sheet. And Leonardo had a few things to say about Ramos's ordeal. We recruited him, he was physically good. Today, he has played in 5 matches. Unfortunately, what we imagined did not happen. It's hard for him, for everyone, but our reports are clear. The day we say he can no longer play, it will be clear to everyone. This is not the case. Afterwards, not playing makes it difficult for him to be a leader. We will wait before drawing conclusions. The season is not over, but I'm not afraid to take responsibility for mistakes when I make them. In a delicate situation, the 35-year-old Spaniard, who has not returned to training according to Le Parisien, still retains the confidence of PSG. But for how long? Under contract until 2023, he could, like his club, be led to ask questions about his future. Since the situation in Ukraine broke out, several Russian oligarchs have been targeted by the authorities. And if Roman Abramovich is the most publicized target, the boss of AS Monaco does not want to be treated in the same way. It's also had repercussions on the world of football. In addition to the Ukrainian sportsmen who have gone to take up arms to defend their country, the Russians of the football world have already been sanctioned by FIFA and UEFA. As for the Russian club owners, some are singled out. Asked about the case, the coach of Nice, Christophe Gaultier, had clearly expressed his opinions. "I have no problem meeting AS Monaco. We must bring support to the Ukrainian people, to Ukrainian athletes, and more specifically to footballers and coaches. But we cannot blame all people of Russian nationality." For the moment, Monaco and Rybolovlev seem much less embarrassed than Roman Abramovich and Chelsea, and for good reason. France Info recently indicated that the case of the AS Monaco boss was different from that of the Blues. Clearly, Abramovich had followed Vladimir Putin's recommendation to invest in sport, when Rybolovlev chose to invest abroad to avoid problems in Russia. And if he appears in the Putin Accountability Act, a list of Russians to be sanctioned for their links with the Russian president, drawn up by the American Congress, Rybolovlev is not one of the 400 Russians and Belarusians identified by the EU as being supporters of Putin, as reported by Le Parisien. The newspaper also says that the Monaco owner does not intend to imitate Abramovich and step back. Indeed, Rybolovlev, who made his fortune in Russia in the 1990s before Putin came to power, was never close to the latter. So that's why Rybolovlev is going to avoid getting sanctioned by the EU leaders. UFC star Conor McGregor could be on the verge of getting his next business investment. On Wednesday, March 2nd, McGregor expressed his interest in buying Chelsea from owner Roman Abramovich. The MMA star expressed his interest through Twitter, sending his fans into meltdown. Abramovich, who has owned the London club since 2003, announced his intention to sell the club due to outside pressure over Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the threat of British government sanctions. He bought Chelsea for nearly €190 million in 2003 and has previously reportedly turned down an offer of €2.6 billion. McGregor's tweet was a response to a WhatsApp message from an unknown name which read, "Chelsea for sale, £3 billion, let's buy it." It wasn't the first time the UFC star had shared an interest in a Premier League club. In April 2021, McGregor expressed interest in buying Manchester United. "Hey guys, I'm thinking of buying Manchester United. What do you guys think?" McGregor tweeted at the time. However, we do have our doubts. We don't deny that Conor McGregor is one of the all-time greats in UFC. During his time in the octagon, he has amassed a lot of wealth because his matches always sell. The Irishman also ventured into different businesses, and through his company Proper 12, raked in about £112 million last year. Last year, McGregor was named the richest athlete in the world, ahead of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. However, that might not be enough for him to finance such a massive acquisition. His current net worth is estimated to be about £135 million, which falls way short of the £3 billion it would take to buy Chelsea. But that might not stop the prize fighter from making an attempt. If McGregor is indeed serious about this, he might use his contacts, get a few investors on board, and make a move. But then again, will it be enough to finalize a deal? We don't think so. After trying to buy the club in 2019, US tycoon Todd Boehly is in pole position and is valued at £4.7 billion. Then you have Hans-Jörg Wyss, who is the favourite to finalise the transaction. The Swiss billionaire is worth £4.3 billion, but is not going to overpay for the club. However, he will be interested in buying the club with a consortium consisting of 6 to 7 investors. Maybe that's where McGregor and others come in.